Good morning. Good morning. Joe and Joanne here, and Buddy and Bella and Valentino enjoying our Sunday service treats. Welcome to our home. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have a beautiful fall day, but a little too nippy for the yard. So we're hanging out inside this morning, and we're blessed to have our good friends Linda McClanahan and Joel Neff with us this morning to do a few songs as a part of the service this morning. So thank you for tuning in, and let's enjoy that opening song right now. Any intro you want to do to it, up to you.
Can you accompany us on
you bet.
tambourine, Joanne?
Yeah.
And there they are.
There they are.
Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. 3 gates in the east, 3 gates in the west, 3 gates in the north, and 3 gates in the south. There's 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. Oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. Walking down the road, palm leaf in my hand. Oh, white gate, old Jerusalem. For there's 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. Oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. 1 gate for the sun, 1 gate for the sea, 1 gate for the inner fire, burning through eternity. 1 gate for the human heart, another for the mind. 1 gate for the single eye, the light of humankind. Oh, there's 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. What a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. 1 gate for the steward, 1 for the thinkers, 2. 1 gate for the wisdom way, and 1 for sky blue. 1 gate for the teacher who insight to the blind. 1 gate for the student who won't be left behind. Yes, there's 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. Oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city, oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. 12 gates to the city,
Oh, nice. Nice. Thank you, Linda and Joel. Well, we'll go into in a moment here a prayer song that Joel and I will take a lead on. Very, very familiar chant song. Goes way back, very simple, so I hope you'll join in on that. And as always, I want to invite you to send in prayer requests. It's one of the ways we're staying connected during this time of social distancing is to remember we're a community of prayer together, share our prayer concerns with one another, and lift each other up in prayer. So send those in. UnityDelawareOhio.org is our website. There's a prayer request tab right at the top of that page. That'll come directly to me. And why don't you come on over, Joe, and we'll do this real simple, don't even need a chart for it really, very simple song The scripture comes out of Hebrews for it. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. It's like that wisdom from within, that presence and power that's with us, reminding us that. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Join in with us. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Let's just close our eyes now and take that listening into the silence together. Listen inwardly. Feel inwardly for that presence that is with us always. That wisdom that guides us. That divine idea rises from as we have need of it. That wellspring of steadying peace that we can call upon at any moment to steady and strengthen us. We reaffirm our understanding in this prayerful moment of our deep connection with God in us, the source of all our good, all our wisdom, all our strength, all our peace. Each one of us, without exception, deeply connected to Source. And we can draw upon that in times of weariness, in times of confusion, in times of loss. When we feel lost and struggling to find our way, we can call upon that deep reservoir in us for guidance, for protection, for renewing strength and energy. We know that truth for each one in our prayer circle this morning, for living beings everywhere. All are connected at depth to the source of all their good, of everything they need to meet the needs of the moment, whether it is healing, guidance, protection, safety, security. God in us, the source of all our good, is already flowing in our lives. This is the truth we're affirming for ourselves, for our community of prayer, and for living beings everywhere. How grateful we are for the life of God in us, now and always. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Joe. All right. Well, before we get into the message, we'd like another song. So as soon as Joe gets over there and pans that camera around.
Where'd that camera person?
Where's the cameraman?
We don't want to do a fast pan. We don't want to make anybody dizzy.
We'll all become like heaven while living on this earth. We can see that spirit shining. All of nature
Authorship unknown.
Authorship unknown. Okay, maybe somebody knows it out there.
Yeah.
If so, they can tell us. Lovely. Okay. Well, thinking a little bit this past week, it seems like I've been hearing a lot of expressions of weariness. And I feel a little weary myself. Things get wearisome. This has been a kind of a long pandemic, the long period of having to learn new habits of social distancing and sanitizing and all that. It's amazing, actually, the way we have learned these things so quickly. It's like a kind of a forced change in our lifestyle that we, of course, didn't think was going to go on this long. I thought I got a kick out of, I think it was Linda Blaine had a post up that said, does anyone else feel like Halloween is unnecessary this year? Did you see that one? And I've been wearing a mask and eating candy for 7 months now. I don't think we need a holiday dedicated to it. And I thought, yeah, there's a tone of weariness in that, isn't there? It's getting old. And that's something to kind of look at. What do we do when we are in the midst of some kind of a process, a healing process, a growth transformation process, and it gets wearisome and it goes on longer than we thought. I remember early when we first became aware we couldn't meet at the church building any longer. It was, I think at the March 15 service, something like that. And I thought, oh, we'll surely be back by Easter, which was April 12th. Didn't quite make that deadline, and you kind of kept thinking it was going to be just a little bit down the road. So that's challenged us. You know, how do we deal with that? And it seems to me it's a common experience in life. We've had a real deep experience of it this year. A long challenge that gets wearisome in the midst of it, but we've all had that experience in life in different times. We have experience to draw on. A long healing process, perhaps. It could be a long process involved in working with our relationships or our financial prosperity, or parenting is a long haul kind of proposition that can get a little wearisome in the midst sometimes. All kinds of situations in life we'd have to deal with hanging in there when things get wearisome. How do we do that? What are our strategies when we need that second wind to keep going? So I was drawing on my own recollections, thinking about things that I've discovered help a little bit over the years, looking into scripture a little bit, and have several ideas. And I'm hoping maybe it'll spark some ideas for you as well, if you're feeling a little weary of the challenges we've been facing lately. So here are some that I came up with for strategies for getting that second wind. First one that came to mind for me was that it's a call to refocus on our purpose, to refocus on purpose. Once you've been involved in a challenging situation for a while, it's easy to lose touch with, why am I doing this? You know, why do we have to do this? You know, to get back in touch with the meaningfulness of it. Anytime that second wind, you know, we're in need of that, and we're kind of in the middle of something, it's easy to forget that. What's the purpose of what we're doing? And we need to refocus on that. Been a lot of things in the news lately about we're getting a lot of surge of virus cases, particularly across the Midwest, some new highs in numbers of cases. And one of the reasons they cite is that we're getting a little weary of the restrictions that we're all having to deal with. And maybe we're forgetting a little bit that purpose or why we're doing it, which is to safeguard our health, our loved ones' health, each other's health and well-being, and support our collective being in good health. So refocusing on that purpose again, is that still an important purpose? Do I still believe that's important? And if so, I keep doing it. That helps me move toward a renewal of energy. So refocus on purpose. Second one came to mind was what we do here on Sunday every week is remember you're not alone. You are connected with others. Despite the rigors of social distancing, in fact, we are all still connected, and we've found amazing ways during these recent months to continue to connect with one another, whether it's FaceTime or Zoom or or whatever it might be, we are finding ways to remember and to enact our connection with one another. We do that here on Sunday mornings, and it means so much to us to see the comments coming in, to hear from you about what's going on with you, what prayer requests you might have. It meant a lot to me in the last couple of weeks as I had the knee surgery and have been recovering from it. The cards we've gotten, the emails, the notes, it really gives you a sense of you're being upheld by community, and we need to kind of keep on keeping up with that. Even if you're living alone, even if you're rarely seeing people during the week, you're connected to a community, the human community, and we need to find ways to reach out, to send notes to each other, to make phone calls, to honor that connection and remind ourselves of it as we do that. We are all connected in human community. That's something that's very helpful to me, that participating in that flow of mutual support is very helpful to get that second wind. Third one is one I've thought about a lot, is to take a wider view, to take a longer view of something we're dealing with in a challenging time. It's very easy in the day-to-day to get discouraged and to feel like not much is moving in the right direction. We have to take a longer view than that. I learned a little lesson in that from my first physical therapist that came to the house. Said to me, I think her name was Carol, she said, don't gauge your progress day by day, go week by week. Because day by day it'll be really up and down, and you'll feel one day like you're not very strong, and the next day like you're pretty good, and the next day not so good. We all have days like that. And so we need to take a longer view. If you're recovering from knee surgery, it's like week by week. You'll see progress. Sometimes it's a longer view than that you need to take. I remember my first important minister relationship I had, Reverend Ed Tuttle. He was a Science of Mind minister here in Columbus many years ago. But he would say, gauge your spiritual progress, not by day to day, but by years. Are you more peaceful and steadier and stronger and clearer this year than last, or than 5 years ago? If so, keep it up. You are doing great. Don't let the bumps in the day-to-day throw you. Joel Goldsmith has a wonderful passage about that. He talked about those dips where you feel like you've lost ground and you're not doing well. He called them the inevitable valleys of life. The inevitable valleys, and you have to not let them throw you. There's going to be hills and valleys. It's part of the rhythm of human life. So taking a longer view can be very helpful in getting that second wind. Another one is to remember your training. Remember your training. This isn't your first race. I was thinking about this as, this turned into be, kind of a marathon, not a sprint. We thought it was going to be a sprint and wrap up in a couple of weeks. It's more of a longer haul than that. And we can draw some lessons, I think, from marathon runners and from the kind of training they do. I think there's lessons for us in that. People who run marathons, and I know we have a couple in our audience. Kim, I'm thinking of you, for instance. They train in long runs and so on, and probably all of them at some point have that experience that they call hitting the wall, or I guess there's a word Americans use for it called bonking. Hitting the wall, where you feel totally depleted and you can't go on. And then those who have trained sufficiently, especially with longer runs, they manage to keep going beyond that wall and get extra energy. I found that fascinating as I was reading about it online. I guess it's like there's kind of different levels or different sources for energy in the body. It's glycogen, a carbohydrate that, you talk about carbo loading and that kind of thing before a race or something, but the carbs are what are used first, this glycogen that's stored in the muscles, and then at some point that goes away, and an experienced runner can learn how to draw from deeper fat reserves in the body. I thought that was fascinating, and that comes from training, from practice in learning how to do that, especially on longer runs. Well, it seems to me we have reserves too, and in some of the races, some of the challenges we've been through in the past, we have done some training on how to draw from deeper reserves in us. We've learned that too. times when you have had to call on a deeper wellspring of persistence to hang in there, of greater patience when something wasn't coming along as quickly as you'd like, a wellspring of greater strength or tolerance for temporary discomforts. Whatever it is, this isn't your first race. You do have training you can draw on to help yourself get back that second wind of energy. You've done it before. You can do it now as well if you need that second wind right now. Finally, and maybe it's always the first one, is draw on divine support. As we sang in our prayer song, we are all connected at depth. We may walk around oblivious to the fact, much of the days, but we are all connected at depth with Source, with a power, a presence, and energy in us that we can call upon. It's always with us. It's, like always reminding us, our heart song, I'll never forsake you. It's out of Hebrews 13:5, I think. I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. This power and presence with us. Even in the darkest of times, you might think of Psalm 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thou art with me. I will fear no evil. Thou art with me. God is with us. That's the promise of all faith traditions, that teaching of the unfailing presence of God with us. And that's true now. And so our job first at the top of any day is hand it over. Call upon divine support. Say, fill me with new energy and strength, God. Guide me through the day, moment by moment. I know I'm deeply connected with you, and I invite you to lead me through the day. That gives us the strength we need. Our role is to be receptive, to create maybe moments of receptivity by day and by night, and then wait for that guidance that will come, that second wind of energy and strength, that steadying peace to keep going when we are feeling weary. So let's take that into prayer for a moment. Just close our eyes and affirm our awareness that we are connected at depth with God in us, with a source of great intelligence, of peace, of power, of healing energy, of abiding love and comfort. That is God in us, and we are connected with God at depth. So we draw upon that this morning, and we recommit ourselves to remembering it through the days and the nights ahead, that God is leading us. God is with us moment by moment, filling our sails with wind, all the seconds and thirds and fourth winds we need to meet the challenges of the day. It's not just our strength and resources, it's God in us, and they are unlimited. Thank you, God, for your unfailing presence with us now and always. Amen. All right, let's see. Before a closing song, just a couple of announcements, and really mostly just thank yous today. Thank you to all of you for tuning in, for staying in touch, for sending in your comments to us, to each other. This is how we maintain our community. We're so grateful for that. We're grateful for Linda and Joel being here this morning. Yay! I saw a lot of comments saying how much they enjoy you being here and your songs. I want to thank Joe for his technical mastery, the man of all hats. He takes care of everything. He's doing so much around the house. Linda said, oh, he sounds like he's Cinderfella this morning. Cinderfella, I like that. Such hard work around here, taking care of our home and everything else, and all the technical details of this service. We are grateful. Grateful for your continuing support of the church through this time, sending in those donations via PayPal or to the church's P.O. box. We're so grateful for your support, enabling us to continue strongly through this marathon. And we're so grateful for that support. So I think that's about it. Let's have the last song from Lynn and Joel, and then we'll do the prayer for protection.
And we're going to be accompanied by the tambourine stylings of Joanne.
Oh, of course. This is an easy one. Help us at home. Here's how it goes. I got a feeling.
thank you again for joining us this morning. It's always a joyful experience Sunday mornings to connect with you this way, and we will keep in touch during the week and keep each other in prayer, keep our world in prayer, and let's just close as we always do with our prayer for protection. Join me in it wherever you are. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.